Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson is probably the fight that determines who the best boxer for the rest of the decade is going to be. Inoue probably on his way out. Usyk on his way out. Crawford retired. Canelo on his way out. This is the fight that determines who is the best boxer. Period. At the end of 2020, you're going to look back and be like, wow, we had Terrence Crawford and Lopez Stevenson. Whoever wins, we're going to have him as the GOAT, like, of the generation. I think that's just how it's going to be. They fight this weekend in New York, and nobody online is talking about it. MSG sold out, but yet still nobody's talking about it. This is the most important fight we have had since Canelo Crawford, which, isn't that long ago, or Fury. No, since the Saudis got involved, this is the kind of fights we get. And you get it, but like, this fight, it deserves so much more praise and credit from what it is. There's so many fights on this weekend, but this is the one. This is the one. Everybody's been wanting a real test for Shakur Stevenson. Like, he's fought fantastically. He's had hard opponents. Like, William Zepeda is stylistically a hard opponent for Shakur Stevenson. But he's not fought someone as battle-tested and as hard-willed and smart as Teofimo Lopez. Everybody looks at Teofimo Lopez's record. I bet you did too. I bet you looked at Teofimo Lopez's record and said, look at that. One loss to George Kambosos. Says a lot. You don't look at the win at over Vasyl Lomachenko when Lomachenko was the man. You don't look at the win over undisputed champion Josh Taylor or Comey, the one that got him to the dance. You don't look at those wins. No. You look at, he got dropped in the first round because he got overzealous against a George Kambosos. And that's the end of that. You're missing out, bro, because Teofimo Lopez is a tricky, tricky fighter. We've discussed how hard it is to beat Shakur Stevenson. In the past, we've talked about just how great of a defensive mastermind Shakur Stevenson is. We saw it against William Zepeda. Stevenson's hard to prepare for. He's hard to hit, near impossible to hit. His hands get in the way. He gets behind the shoulder roll. His footwork's always on point. He finds the angles. As a southpaw, he is near perfect. He's such a hard fighter. But when you put him in there with a Teofimo Lopez, a fighter that has stepped up to the occasion and brought out the best he has to offer time and time again, when it mattered the most, well, you got yourself a guaranteed title fight that's going to be very important. Now, I'm not saying that this fight's going to be the most exciting. As a matter of fact, it's probably not going to be that exciting if you're not a actual boxing fan. Like, if you're just in here for like them throwing punches and hurting each other, you're going to be okay. You're going to be like, wow, that was great. But if you're in this for the love of the game, if you know ball, like my boy L at work says, if you know ball, and you know, this stylistically is a different kind of fight, you're looking forward to this fight. You're looking forward to the X's and O's. To me, it's a 50-50 toss-up. So I'm really looking forward to seeing, A, how Teofimo Lopez approaches this fight, because that's important. And B, can Shakur Stevenson throw out that first, second, third layer of game planning that Teofimo Lopez is going to bring? It's an interesting stylistic matchup, and it's what boxing's about. We've been with this stylistic matchup since Floyd Mayweather. Everybody called Gervonta Davis the second coming of Floyd. No, absolutely not. It's Shakur Stevenson. It is Shakur Stevenson that's the second coming of Floyd Mayweather. Can this style be defeated? They always say, like, defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. That's what they say in all kinds of sports. Defense wins championships until the Golden State Warriors are dropping 23-pointers a game on you. Or 2019 LSU is putting up, God knows, 100 points a game to Joe Burrow is throwing 7 touchdowns in the first half against Oklahoma in the playoffs. Defense doesn't always win championships. But Shakur Stevenson's defense, predated by Floyd Mayweather's defense, won a lot of championships. It's won a lot. And there's plenty of defensive championships, as there should be. And if Shakur Stevenson wins, I won't be surprised. but his shoulder roll is so hard to hit. If you watch a single video on Shakur Stevenson, his hand checks, the cross check, he does real good catching punches. He makes sure all of your punches are intercepted, like just by punching at him or swatting at him and obstructing their direction. He makes it incredibly hard to punch him, which is what is presented to Teofimo Lopez. If Shakur Stevenson's offense isn't so perfect and fine-tuned, the onus will be on Teofimo Lopez to change it. How does he do that? Well, it's not easy. And Lopez is going to have to understand that, first of all, volume is going to win this fight. I've always said Gervonta Davis loses pretty badly to Shakur Stevenson, simply on the fact that output is not his best weapon. Gervonta Davis has very low amounts of offense he puts out. He looks for the big shots. That's what he does. Shakur Stevenson eats that alive. Oh, 3 punches around coming at me. Okay, I only got to dodge 3. Then I can just pitter-patter you. Teofimo Lopez needs to come with the volume. Look at what William Zepeda did so well. Now, Zepeda clearly lost against Shakur Stevenson, sure. But you can learn from that. Nobody has hit Shakur more than William Zepeda. If Lopez can, I don't want to say turn back the clock because the guy's still young. But if he could turn back to one of those Josh Taylor type performances, go watch that Josh Taylor fight. If he could turn back to one of those types of performances or from the Lomachenko performance, you're looking at a star-making performance. He has to bring the volume. He has to be prepared to fight on the inside angle. Shakur loves, as a southpaw, Shakur Stevenson loves the outside foot angle. He loves it. He lines his left hand straight up with it all the time. He'll double jab and he'll come in and do that. You need to be comfortable on the inside angle. A strong jab, which Lopez has, a strong jab will be his best friend. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, though. Then, of course, there's, on the pivot, Lomachenko had the pivot and that rear uppercut across the body that Lopez threw. That's going to be a great weapon for him, too, as Shakur pivots. It really is a perplexing fight and a hard one to break down because nothing's really worked against Shakur Stevenson and nothing's really worked against Lomachenko either, but he's found a way. Teofimo Lopez, that is, he's found a way to beat him. It doesn't work until it works, and that's really what we're looking at here. It doesn't work until it works. Teofimo Lopez is going to have to make something happen. This fight, again, determines who the best fighter of the decade will be for the last half of this decade, I should say. We'll probably call Terrence Crawford the best ever, especially if he gets one more fight in. And should it be Shakur Stevenson's final king-making performance? Because everything Lopez has done, the win over Comey, win over Lomachenko, the loss to Kambosos, the win and coming back over Josh Taylor, everything he's done has led up to this point. Devin Haney said no. Ryan Garcia said no. Gervonta Davis said no. Teofimo Lopez's dance partner, or I should say, let me rephrase that, Shakur Stevenson's dance partner is Teofimo Lopez. And he has to be prepared for a hard fight, one that he's never been a part of before. Never. And if he can get through this, Shakur Stevenson is going to be a star. There's way more upside for Shakur Stevenson than there is Teofimo Lopez. Way more. Absurdly amounts more. So you watch it and you have to admire the subtleties of this. The small things, the hand checks, the positioning. This is not a fist fight, guys. This is going to be a work of art. This is going to be one of those fights where you're like, that's what boxing should look like. Teofimo Lopez coming forward and doing what he needs to do. This is going to be a George Foreman, Muhammad Ali type fight. Not really, no. I got ahead of myself there, guys. Slow down, Blaine. Pump the brakes. Good Lord. What am I talking? This is going to be one of those fights, though, where it's like, wow, okay. Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather. Like one of those. It's going to be one of those where you're on the edge of your seat the entire time. Because, what if Teofimo lands? And he very well can. And that's what we're facing down the barrel of. Not a bad problem to look at. Not a bad problem at all. And I hope this fight delivers. I hope it delivers in everything we see because we deserve it.